We're here for our review hearing today. We're conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor's making our record today. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
And Your Honor, before I get started, I would make a motion to go off of YouTube and into the live stream for because I anticipate we might talk about immigration and other issues, and for the protection of the privacy of a minor, I would ask for us to go off YouTube.
Okay, and Ms. Ebling, of course, is not with us, but she did file a report. I'm going to make that quantum leap based on what she normally would say, and I find that probably she would have no objection to that. So, all right, so to protect the confidentiality and privacy of the children, I will stop the live stream and I'll resume that. Okay, we're here on a review hearing. We're conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming. Ms. Taylor's making our record. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready with Permanency Specialist Frank Angiano and Supervisor Samantha Lopez standing in for Supervisor Dakota Miller, all from St. Francis Ministries.
Jim Shaw, attorney ad litem.
Okay, what do we have new about Moses since the report was filed?
Not much, Your Honor. Moses is doing pretty well as he can be doing. He hasn't had any major medical challenges in the last few while. Hasn't really had any medication changes. His medication and his treatment have been very consistent over the last 6 months. The biggest challenge that he's had for the last probably 6 to 9 months has been his blood sugar. He was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in addition to all of his other diagnoses last year. His blood sugar is now monitored by a little implant that they put in his arm. So now they can detect any major changes in his blood sugar in pretty much real time. And since that was put in, that's really gone a long way with helping map his blood sugar changes and everything like that. So he's doing as well as he can be doing, honestly.
Okay, so my big questions are, we're approaching, his 18th birthday. Are we looking at, is he in an HCS slot, or where are we with that?
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that application yet, simply because we had to do his Social Security, and we got that done, I believe, in February or March, and we can't move him into an HSC slot until his SSI application comes back. Somehow that was not done, even though we probably could have done that years ago. That was not done until I came on the case. So now we're just waiting to hear back, and the minute we get that SSI application back, we'll apply for that slot.
Okay, you can get to the courthouse in Louisville.
Okay.
Is it your sister or sister-in-law? The lady that has claimed to be, I don't remember her name.
Your Honor, we are monitoring it. I will contact the person that helps us with Social Security and see if there's anything that we can do. We understand the gravity of the situation if he turns 18 without any resources.
Yeah.
And I checked in with him about 2 weeks ago and asked for an update. And he said, we have verification that they got the application and that they've got everything they need to process it. And now we're just waiting.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on top of it. Mr. Shaw, anything today?
As far as the child's concerned, his medical, I guess, issues are just kind of stabilized. I think that's the best we can ask for at this.
Okay. All right, then I'll continue the department as permanent managing conservator and continue his current placement. And I guess thank y'all for trying to, spearhead this, because the ramifications are not going to be good. All right, then I'll see everybody back January 8th of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. That's obviously before he turns 18. We've got till next April. So I'll see y'all in January.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks so much. If there's anything I can do or sign or anything that makes a difference, just let me know.
Yeah, unfortunately, Social Security just takes the time that it takes.
Yep.
But we're trying.
Okay. Appreciate it. You hearing? We're conducting this through Zoom. We're live streaming. All right, and then Taylor's making our record. Okay. We'll go ahead and take announcements.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready with Permanency Specialist Frank Angiano and Supervisor Samantha Lopez standing in for Supervisor Dakota Miller, all from St. Francis Ministries.
Jim Shaw, attorney at Latham.
Monica Olivas with CASA.
Okay, what do we have new regarding Flora?
Flora, also known as Eve, she's doing really well. She's going back to public school this year. Her foster mother is had a surgery a few months back. Plus, one of her younger brothers is having some difficulty, so she is going back to public school this year, and she's nervous but excited about that. She had a wonderful summer. She went to 2 different church camps. She played on a roller hockey team, which was really exciting for her. And she's growing up, getting taller, and she's able to live her best life right now.
All right. Well, I've never had much concern about that we were going to have good news. So, anyway, that's all sounds good. Mr. Shaw, anything to add?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and CASA?
No concerns.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ferguson, really anything to update or report? Or I mean, I know what the report said. So,
Yeah.
is that pretty much where we're at?
We're just waiting.
Okay, then I'll continue the department as permanent managing conservator and continue her placement, and we'll review again January 8th, 2025 on a 9 o'clock docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
Everybody that's not involved in the Floyd County case, you're free to go.
Thanks, Judge. I'll see you next
Okay,
week.
Okay, still
Thank
letting
you.
a few people in. I know that we had an order to bring in Mr. Cooper. I don't know if he's logged in on under another name. Anybody recognize any? In other words, do you all know who Miss Ferguson? Do you know who everybody is that's in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Everybody is with the Department of St. Francis that I can see.
that you can see. Okay, all right. Miss Katie, did you have contact with them? Did you say yesterday?
Yes, Judge, I sent the order out yesterday,
Okay,
but I did not get confirmation that he would be here.
okay, Mr. Barfield, have you had any recent contact with him?
Not recent, Judge. I was hoping he'd be here. Now, I do know his situation, which is going to obviously affect what he's going to be able to do at this particular juncture in the case, by the way.
Do you want to attempt to call the jail and see if they're going to have him on?
Yeah, we can do that. I can have my office do that, Judge. Just let me tell the court kind of his situation. He is being held on a blue warrant right now. For my understanding for parole violation, and so yeah, I can call. I'll call the jail, but right now, he's not going to be getting out till that blue warrant is resolved. And as of last hearing, he's been appointed an attorney for his new charges out of Lubbock, I believe. But as of last hearing, he hadn't even talked with that lawyer. But let me get on trying to get him on real quick, and we will see if we can get him on. If not, obviously with this situation, he's going to have a hard time. Obviously there's not going to be any placement with kiddos with him. So
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll do that real quick.
Okay, let's just see if they've got it and they'll.
Sure, absolutely. I get it. No, I thought he was going to be here. So let me see what I can do.
Okay. Right. While he's doing that, anybody else need a breakout room or everybody good?
Your
Ready to
Honor,
go?
I will need a breakout room with the attorneys just to kind of see where we are before we get started. But I think
Okay.
a lot of that depends on whether or not Mr. Barfield can reach his client.
All right. Well, let's just, I'll go ahead and put everybody else in.
Okay.
You can start visiting and then I'll move him over here in just a minute. Miss Wyatt, how are you this morning?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
Twice in 1 week.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it?
All right. How many days is it today?
139.
How long have you been there?
I guess about, I need to figure that up. I started in 1987,
87?
January 1st, 1987, but I took off 6 months in like 2001. So what would that be, 37 and a half, maybe? Something like that. I've been here long enough.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
Well,
This ain't,
what are you gonna do with yourself in retirement?
and I told her probably to sit in my robe and watch TV and do nothing. I'm ready to slow down. But I still have a granddaughter that lives with me. She started 7th grade yesterday, so I'm trying to keep up with her.
I was gonna say,
I don't keep up like I used to.
that'll keep you busy.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
So, but I'm ready.
All right, well, that's exciting. I'm a few years away from that still, so,
Yeah.
but I have my days where I sure am looking forward to it.
Well, I always tell her she can't retire until I can retire. That's gonna be a lot longer.
I guess we're gonna have to compromise somewhere in between.
That's kind of what I did with Judge Smith. We just kind of compromised. I hung on 2 more years. And then I guess he'll have 2 more after me. But
Then is he talking about retiring?
after me, yes. Guess he'll have 20 years.
Yeah,
The years go by in a hurry.
I know. I can't believe this October. Rachel, what will be 9?
Yep, 9 years.
9 years? Yeah. Hard to believe.
I got a message from my office. They're just running a little bit late. They're trying to get him on now, Judge. And I've already been to the breakout room and back.
Okay, very good. All right,
Yeah,
we'll give it
they're
just
just
a few
running a
minutes.
little late. Small jail, not a lot of staff, so.
Okay, we'll give him a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, we've got Mr. Cooper now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, anybody else need any other breakout rooms before we get going?
Yes, ma'am. Can I speak to my attorney before we start, Judge? If it's okay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Pam. Can we have, Judge, can I talk to Pam real quick?
Yes, do you want to you want me to have Mr. Cooper brought back into the main session, or you want to leave him in the
Well,
room?
we're gonna need him back in the main session, but just give me the attorneys again.
Okay, you want to leave
if you
him
don't
in room
mind.
2?
Whatever room, yeah, is that where we went last time? Yeah.
You want to just leave him in there, or are you going to need to talk
Yeah,
to him
let's
again?
just do, let's just leave him where he is for
Oh,
now.
he just came back
Okay,
into the
he's
main
back.
session.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
All
That's
right.
fine.
Everybody, all the other lawyers can go back to room 1, and Mr. Barfield, I'll reassign you there.
Judge, I think we're gonna probably have to have some testimony. I think that would be the most efficient way to handle that this morning. My opinion.
Okay. All right, then. Make sure we got
Your Honor,
everybody.
I believe Ms. Riley may still be talking to her client.
Oh, okay. I just moved her in.
Oh,
back
she's
to the
back.
Session, but
Yeah.
yeah. We're here on a reset for our adversary hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. It also is enabling us to have Mr. Cooper brought in. We are live streaming at this time, and Ms. Wyatt's making our record this morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I am present and ready with Investigator Veronica Nieto and Supervisor Natalie Thacker. I think she's on. Both from the department, and I'm also present with Permanency Specialist Lisa Hooper, Permanency Specialist Destiny Swartz, and Supervisor Jasmine DeVroe from St. Francis Ministries.
Brooks Barfield representing Mr. Cooper. He's present and ready, Judge.
Tracy Riley representing Amy Hernandez, and she is present and ready as well.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent the children, present and ready.
Okay, thank y'all. All right, Ms. Ferguson, who's your first witness going to be?
Your Honor, I call Amy Hernandez.
All right, Ms. Ferguson.
Miss Hernandez Cooper, I'm sorry, I think I called you Hernandez before. But do you go by Hernandez Cooper?
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Amy Hernandez Cooper.
Okay. Tell me how the department got involved with your life this time.
I believe there was a call about some drug use. And that's far as that's what I was served with the other day.
And did you just finish a family-based safety services case that closed in June?
I guess so.
And did you work services in that case?
Yes, ma'am.
And what services did you complete?
I went to well, there was parenting classes. I went to Cinecor drug rehab. And that's about it.
Okay, let me ask you, have you had a relapse recently?
I did.
And are you wanting to go back into rehab to get clean?
I made arrangements already.
Okay, and where are you going?
It's called the Dove Tree Ranch in Lubbock.
Okay. And when are you starting rehab there?
In the middle of September. When I talked to them yesterday, they said whenever I get these legal matters, when I get some of these legal matters out the way, then they'll be ready for me.
Are you wanting to work with the department to have that paid for and to have services?
I have already arranged with them. They I mean, I've already had conversations with them to where, you know, my insurance is going to pay, but whether I just want to be able to go and get the help I need. I've been clean since probably like the 11th of July. So it's a month now, and continue to stay that way. But even though I'm clean, I still want to go get help.
Where are your children currently placed?
They are placed with Timothy and Nora Collins.
And are you okay with them being placed there?
Yes, I am completely I'm good with them being there right now.
Okay.
Under the circumstances, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This person, let me interject. Are these relatives? Fictive kin? What?
Miss Hernandez Cooper, what relation are they to the children?
They're their aunt and their uncle on their dad's side.
Okay.
And the kids are in Floydada, is that correct? So they can continue school?
Yes, they're in school right now. Today's the first day of school here in Floydada.
Okay. When this case started, you and Mr. Cooper were having some disagreements, is that correct?
Well, we weren't having disagreements of what he kind of felt that, you know, I was hiding something, you know, so you know, I was upfront with them and I let him know that, you know, I had relapsed, and he said that he had to do the right thing, and I talked to the department, and you know, they made arrangements to where I could get help with my relapsing.
So at this time, are you okay with things continuing the way they are while you get help?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe that when you get out of rehab that you and Mr. Cooper will also need to maybe do couples therapy or work on your relationship?
We've needed couples therapy. We've needed couples therapy. We were trying to get couples therapy without the department being involved, but because we needed it because of the trauma of the last case. But we weren't able to get it because of work and stuff like that. But yes, we are willing to get counseling. I think it'd be beneficial for us both.
Okay. And I've been told, well, I'll let your attorney ask that question. Your Honor, at this time I pass the witness.
Okay. Ms. Riley?
Amy, just a few questions just to clarify some of the things, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to get you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zoom sometimes can be difficult. All right. So, I mean, obviously, you love your children, right?
I do.
And the last time, would you agree with me that the last time that you worked services, it was hard to work those services, right?
No. It was easy. It was easy.
Okay.
Yes.
But you went through all the steps, right?
All the steps. Yes, ma'am.
And you got your children back.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What this in 2019 or
the last case that just ended when the last time they took your children away, you got your children back, right?
This last case, they never took my children.
Okay. The last time they took your children, you got them back, right?
Yeah.
Because you worked the services, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is your plan this time as well, correct?
Yeah, correct.
You're going to work all the services that they ask you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
So that you can get both your girls back.
Correct.
Okay. And you would like for them to work these services you would like for the girls to remain where they're at for right now?
This time, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have some concerns about housing for you when you get out of rehab?
No, I do not. I have a job. I could pay my bills.
Okay. And will the job be there when you get out of rehab as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have stable housing?
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll continue to have a job?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are you still in contact with Mr. Cooper?
I am.
Okay. And just so that was there anything in the initial report for this case that you wanted to clarify?
Well, I need to know the allegations. I know of, I got served with some paperwork the other day, but I'm not clear on the allegations of this case.
Pass the witness.
Barfield?
Ma'am, you've been when's the last time you were in contact with Mr. Cooper?
Last time I was in contact with him this morning.
Okay. And in regards to your contact with Mr. Cooper, he is currently incarcerated?
Yes, sir.
And where is he incarcerated?
Pell County Jail.
Okay. Do you know why he is incarcerated right now?
On a blue warrant.
Okay. And is he incarcerated? Well, he's on a blue warrant. Okay. And so is it your understanding that's a parole hold?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in regards to the blue warrant was issued because of charges stemming from kind of why we're here today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what charges he is under? In other words, what are the charges that resulted in him getting the blue warrant, if you know?
I believe there was 3, but I was supposedly involved in one of them.
Okay.
One of them was I believe I really can't say the exact wording of it, but
okay.
It's supposed to be an assault charge.
Okay. Against who?
Against me, supposedly.
Okay. Were you assaulted?
No, I was not.
Okay. Okay. Did you, now, were you living with Mr. Cooper when this case that we're on here happened?
I was not. I was supposed to get a bed that day.
Okay.
And I don't really remember what happened. I was supposed to get a bed that no. I was supposed to go to Amarillo and Cinecore, but I needed to pay a good chunk of money to get back in there. And then so I called Dub Ranch, and they had a bed for me on the 3rd of this month. And we talked, and we talked about.
Let me ask you another question. We kind of need to do this question answer, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at the time, you and Mr. Cooper, who were the girls living with at the time they were removed in this case?
They're with their dad.
Okay, all right. And how long had you been out of the home before the removal?
The 17th.
Of what month, please?
July.
Okay. And why did you move out of the home?
To go get help.
Okay.
So,
okay. And that was your plan. And then, okay. Now, during your time in the home, were you the subject of any domestic violence?
No.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Mr. Cooper, was he using drugs too?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I've never seen him use drugs around the girls or in this house.
Okay. All right.
It's not allowed.
Okay. All right. Was he working at the time? Do you recall?
No, sir. He was not working.
Okay. Do you know when the last time he worked was?
Probably the beginning of March.
Okay. And what did he do?
He worked at Shears Snacks.
Okay.
And used to be Frito-Lay in Lubbock, excuse me.
Okay. All right. And was he able to provide when you were living together with the girls, was he able to provide food, clothing, and shelter?
Yes, sir. He pays all the bills, everything that we need here at the house, every single thing he provides.
Okay. Now you weren't working at the time, or am I wrong about that?
I have been working, yes, sir.
Okay. So okay. What did you do? Just out of curiosity.
I work for a home health agency here in Lubbock.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Did you ever observe Mr. Cooper physically harm the girls in any way?
Never.
Did you ever observe Mr. Cooper verbally abuse your children in any way?
No.
Okay. Now you understand right now, he's in jail until he gets that worked out, that he can't be placement for the girls. You understand that?
I understand.
And okay. All right. So you're good with placement based on the circumstances right now and the fact you want to go get help. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Do you believe that if Mr. Cooper gets his criminal legal issues resolved, that placement with him would be a good idea?
I believe Alvin's a great dad. I'm gonna cry. But he's a good father. He's a very good father.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Does anyone in your house use marijuana?
In our house?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, has marijuana been found in your home?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Do you consider marijuana a drug?
It's illegal. Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass witness.
Okay. Ms. Ferguson?
Your Honor, at this time, I'll call Veronica Nieto.
Okay.
And how are you familiar with this case?
I received an investigation or intake to initiate an investigation with Miss Hernandez Cooper and Mr. Cooper.
And what were the intake facts that you received?
This intake, the facts were that there was concerns that the family already had an open CPS case. There was concerns that Mr. Cooper allegedly assaulted Mrs. Hernandez Cooper. There was concerns that when law enforcement arrived to talk with Mr. Cooper, there was odor of marijuana coming from inside the home. There was also concerns that drug paraphernalia and marijuana was found inside the home of Mr. Cooper.
Okay. And so when you started your investigation, did you look into what the open investigation was?
I did, yes.
And what were the facts of the open investigation that was ongoing at the time that you got assigned this case?
The open investigation was due to concerns of Ms. Hernandez Cooper relapsing on illegal substances and being at an unknown location at the time of the report with the children. And when that investigation was initiated, Ms. Hernandez Cooper was located at the Serenity Center with her children.
Okay. And then what happened?
The day that contact was made, she was in the process of getting checked into the Serenity Center with her children. However, Ms. Hernandez Cooper was involved in an altercation with another client at the Serenity Center, and she was being asked to leave the Serenity Center due to the altercation.
Okay. So when you got called in, what was the first thing you did in your investigation?
The first thing I did was go to where I believe the children were, just to lay eyes on the children, make sure they were okay. They were at paternal great aunt's home, Dorothy Collins in Florida. I just went and visited with and made sure they were okay. And then from there, I went and visited with Mr. Cooper.
And is it part of your job as an investigator for the Department of Family and Protective Services to talk to all children and make contact with the children in every case?
Yes.
And in fact, is it required by law that you do so?
Yes.
After that, did you go talk to Mr. Cooper?
I did, yes.
And what did he tell you?
He was in the process of being bonded out from jail, but he did state that there was no domestic violence altercation between him and Amy. He did say that he did take the girls to see her because she hadn't seen them in some time, but he denied any domestic violence. He also denied the home smelling of marijuana. He denied that the marijuana that was found was in plain sight or accessible to the children. And he denied smoking marijuana that day.
So he did tell you that there was marijuana found?
Yes, he did.
And where did he say it was found?
He mentioned it was found in a plastic Cool Whip tub on top of a TV tray in his living room.
And did you ask him if the children could get into that tub?
I did.
And what did he say?
He said no, because it wasn't necessarily, they had no idea it was marijuana. It could have been something else. Could have been Cool Whip, could have been something else, but the children would not have been able to access the marijuana.
And did you have a conversation with him after that about the safety of that?
I did, yes.
And what did you advise him?
I advised him that marijuana is still considered to be an illegal substance. Him exposing the children to marijuana inside the home is a concern that the department has due to it still being an illegal substance.
How old are the children?
Alethea is 11 and Elena is 6.
When you talked to Mr. Cooper and he said that he had taken the children to see Miss Hernandez Cooper, had there been a safety plan in place to prevent their interaction?
Yes.
And what was the nature of that safety plan? What had the department asked of them?
The safety plan was that Miss Hernandez Cooper was not to reside in the home with Mr. Cooper or the children. It also stated any contact that Miss Hernandez Cooper wanted to have with the children would be supervised by a third party person or by the department.
And why was that? Why was the department concerned about them interacting in front of the children?
Just due to the concerns of the department having history with both parents in previous cases for domestic violence. Both parents do have history of violating safety plans in the past in other cases. And so we were requesting a third-party person to ensure the ongoing safety of the children when Ms. Hernandez Cooper and Mr. Alvin were together around the children.
So the second incident that happened, they were actually violating the safety plan when he brought the children to see Ms. Hernandez Cooper. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the incident that happened, is that the exact thing that the department was trying to prevent when asking the parties to follow a safety plan?
Yes.
Was a fight between the two of them?
Correct.
To your knowledge, was law enforcement called out during that fight?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
I was able to speak to the officer that was responding to the incident.
Okay. And after the incident, did you talk to either Mr. Cooper or Ms. Hernandez Cooper?
When I received my intake, I spoke to both Mr. Cooper and Ms. Hernandez.
And what did Ms. Hernandez Cooper tell you about the incident?
She denied that there was any domestic violence. She reported that she might have slammed her face and nose area in the door of the car, but she denied being assaulted or any domestic violence.
Okay. Did she admit to you that her nose and her face had some bruising on it?
Yes.
And she said that that was because she slammed it into the car door?
Yes.
What did Mr. Cooper tell you about the incident?
He denied the incident. He denied causing any injuries to Mrs. Hernandez. He did say that the incident, he did admit to being in the same vicinity area with Ms. Hernandez, but he had concerns that she was intoxicated. He reported he was trying to leave. They did have some kind of verbal arguments, but overall, anything physical, he denied.
Okay. What is your understanding of why Mr. Cooper is currently in jail?
He was arrested for a parole violation.
Okay. And do you know what that parole violation was?
I don't know exactly what it was for.
Okay. Did he get arrested as a result of the incident when he took the children to see Ms. Hernandez Cooper?
Yes.
And was he also arrested when the marijuana was found inside their home?
Yes.
Okay. So those were two different times. Is that correct?
No, well, they were actually the same. By the time law enforcement responded to the location of where the incident occurred, Mr. Cooper had already left the scene. So they visited with Ms. Hernandez and the family member that was at the house. And then they left to go speak to Mr. Cooper. That is when they informed him of what they were arresting him for and also found the marijuana.
Okay. Has Ms. Hernandez Cooper talked to you about wanting to go to rehab?
She has, yes.
And did you hear her testify today that's her plan?
Yes.
And do you believe it's in the best interest of the children for her to get that help?
Yes.
Where are the children currently placed?
They are placed with paternal great aunt, Uncle Timothy and Nora Collins.
And is that a placement that was requested by the parents?
Yes, by Mr. Cooper.
And at this time, do you have any concerns with that placement?
I do not.
If Mr. Cooper were to get out of jail today, would you have concerns with the children going home to live with him?
I would.
And what are those concerns?
The concerns are for the incident occurring between Ms. Hernandez and Mr. Cooper. There are also concerns that Mr. Cooper has been exposing the children to an illegal substance inside the home, presenting a danger to them. That would be the department's concern.
And what about Ms. Hernandez Cooper? At this time, would you have concerns if the children went to live with her today?
Yes.
And what would be those concerns?
Those concerns are that during the investigation, she has admitted to drug use. And with those concerns, it prevents her from being able to be a protective caregiver to the children.
And what efforts did the department make to try to work with the family to avoid this removal today?
We initially implemented the safety plan in the first investigation so the girls could remain in the home with Mr. Cooper. We also, after the second investigation was initiated, we offered Texas Family First program to the family. But because of Mr. Cooper's incarceration, and Miss Hernandez not being able to provide another safety monitor, the department was not able to pursue any TFF with the family due to the children not being able to remain in a home with at least one parent.
And the TFF program would require that if the children are in home with a parent, that parent be supervised at all times. Is that correct?
Yes.
So even then, the department was not going to be able to leave the family safely without procedures in place to protect the children. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, are you asking the court to continue the temporary managing conservatorship of the department and to order the parents to work services so that they can work towards reunification in this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Riley.
Ms. Sancho, just a few questions. Miss Hernandez Cooper told you, was honest with you, correct?
Yes.
About drugs, right? She admitted that she had had a relapse, right?
Yes.
Did she tell you what she had used?
I was able to observe the records through the department as her drug use was discussed in the first initial intake, but she did admit to methamphetamines
And I'm
cocaine.
sorry, I'm just going to stop you. Did you talk to my client directly?
I talked to her directly regarding the second intake.
Okay, and so when you talked to her directly on the second intake, did you talk to her about her drug use?
I informed her there was ongoing concerns of her drug use, yes.
Okay, and did she admit to you personally that she had been using?
She admitted that she did need to go to rehab to address those concerns.
Okay, at that point in time, you did not offer her any services to help her with rehab or outpatient treatment, correct?
She had already informed me that she contacted the Dove Tree and had a pending date of August the 2nd or the 3rd to enter rehab.
Well, and I understand that, and I'm not trying to be ugly here, but my question is, like, you didn't offer for the department to do anything for her, right?
I did not.
Right, and so the department knew that she was having a relapse, right?
Correct.
And neither in the first incident or the second incident, at no time did the department say, here's what we can do for you to help you get clean so that you can keep your kids.
We did not, as she already had her own plan in place.
Right. And again, I get that you thought she had something in plan, but the department's role is to offer services as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, there's no services for either that first intake or the second intake, other than when you said that you were thinking about Texas Family First, but there's no other services that the department offered to Miss Hernandez to try to get her back in the house or to get her with her kids.
No.
Pass the witness.
Mr. Barfield?
Thank you, Judge. Ma'am, now, currently, do you know what charges are pending against Mr. Cooper as he sits in the Hale County Jail?
I do not know exactly what charges other than it is a hold for a parole violation.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the at this point, till Mr. Cooper gets those charges resolved, can the department, and this is a stupid question, but I got to ask it, can the department place the children with Mr. Cooper?
No.
Okay. Now, in regards to the incident, I read in your report that at some point the police came to the Cooper home. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at some point, the police spoke with the children regarding the domestic violence issue. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
And according to your report, the children indicated that they were playing on their phone and tablet and did not see anything, but reported that Mr. Cooper and Miss Hernandez had been arguing. Is that what's in your report?
Yes.
Were you present when the police spoke to the children?
I was not.
Okay. At any point, have the children indicated to you or anyone else in the department, to your knowledge, that Mr. Cooper committed domestic violence against Miss Hernandez?
No.
Okay. Did any law enforcement officer indicate to you that the children said anything to them other than what's indicated in your investigative report?
No.
Now, were you in the home when the alleged marijuana was found?
I was not.
Was that reported to you by the police, or who reported that to you? Do you recall?
That was reported to me by the police, yes.
Okay, all right. Did they show you any photographs or pictures or anything that they may have taken at the scene?
No, when I reached out to them, they did not have the report ready yet.
Okay, thank you. Now, based on the prior, I'm going to call it family-based services case, the children were placed in the care of Mr. Cooper. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
for some time. It was an ongoing case for about a year. There was some changes in household makeup, but there was a point where the children were in the home with Mr. Cooper.
Do you have an approximation about when that was? I'm not looking for a specific date.
I do not. I know the family-based case initiated last year in March. That is when Miss Hernandez went to rehab, so the children would have been at home with Mr. Cooper.
Okay. Now, did you and you? Okay, never mind. Answer my own question. All right, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did Mr. Cooper ever admit to the department that he used marijuana?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he tell you about that?
He did state that he does use marijuana. He's used marijuana for some time now, but the department did not have any grounds to do anything regarding his marijuana use, as he knew the laws and knew that we could not remove his children based off just of his marijuana use.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, anything further from this witness?
Just one quick question. Miss Nieto, you're an investigator, is that correct?
Yes.
And so when it comes to doing a service plan, when does that happen in a case?
That happens when the case gets transferred to either conservatorship or to family-based services.
And is that one of the reasons that we are here today, is to ask the court to order those services for this family?
Yes.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then, let me just ask, any objection to Ms. Nieto being released?
No, Your Honor.
No objection.
Oh, okay, Ms. Nieto, you are free to, I mean, you're free to stay, but you certainly are free to go on about your day's business.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I think she's required to stay.
Okay. All right, then, you can call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time I call Alvin Cooper.
Okay, Mr. Cooper, your attorney has asked me to advise and admonish you regarding your Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution of the United States and also under the Texas Constitution. You have a privilege against self-incrimination when it comes to any questions that might be used against you in any criminal proceeding. So if a question is asked of you and you do not wish to answer that question because you feel as if it might potentially be against your self-interest in a criminal case, then you need to just tell me you want to invoke your Fifth Amendment right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in the interest of that, it'd be nice if everybody's just mindful in what they ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Ferguson, you may proceed.
Mr. Cooper, please state your name for the record.
Alvin Ray Cooper.
And are you the father of these children?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the father of Lethea and Elena.
Okay. So you heard your wife testify. Do you believe that she needs to get help?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the one who initiated the initial intake, you know what I'm saying, that was discussed with the investigator before Veronica got there on this case. I spoke to Wendy Cates, who was a previous caseworker on the previous case that my wife, when she went to the Surrender Center. And I reached out to her, asked her what was my option of getting my wife the help she needed, because the Central Plains Center in Plainview wasn't doing anything for my wife, and that she had relapsed. And that is the whole thing it was about. I called in, taking in myself.
So do you agree that she needs to go to rehab and get some help?
Yes, that was our plan from the get, was to her to get help, and then she come back home and everything be okay. That was the initial plan.
Okay, is that still the plan?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So were you aware of the safety plan that you would have a third party present if the children were going to see their mom?
Yes, ma'am, and I called Miss Thacker or Miss Spencer that Monday morning, requesting her to set up a visit for my wife to see the girls, because the girls wanted to see their mom, and then no one ever reached back out to me.
Well, I mean, how long did you give them to reach back out to you?
I called them at morning, and I waited all day for a response. I called again at 12. I called like 3 or 4 times and never got a response from anyone in the department.
Okay. But there were approved third parties that could have been present, right? Like Miss Collins, Dorothy Collins, or somebody else?
Well, Amy's aunt was a third party. Well, I assumed that's the house that she was at, and that's the reason why I assumed that she was there. I didn't know she was in the hospital at the time, but that's the reason why. There was a third party there. Would have been there.
Would have been there. But at the time when you found out there wasn't a third party, you stayed. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. I was discussing with Ray Hernandez, who's her cousin, and he said she was staying there, and I was about to leave, and both of them was intoxicated, and she grabbed the keys, went in the house. Junior received the keys from her and gave them back to me, and that's when the officer pulled up, and I left the scene.
Were you there when her face hit the car door?
I don't think it hit the car door. Did she fall or something like that? I do believe that, but I don't know if it's the car door or the house door, but it wasn't an assault on my part.
And what happened after that? You went back to your house. Where were the girls?
The girls was in the car with me. Miss Hernandez was standing outside the car, and when I stepped outside to smoke a cigarette and she was visiting with the girls, she reached and grabbed the keys and ran in the house. The car was still running.
And this is the same car that Miss Hernandez Cooper said she hit her face on?
Yes, ma'am.
And the girls were in that car?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do after that?
I knocked on the door, told Junior, hey, I need the keys to the car. Matter of fact, I seen the officer pulling up, and when Junior opened the door and handed me the car keys, I turned around, walked off the porch, started the car, and as I was getting to the car, the officer stepped out of the vehicle, and Ray Hernandez, we call him Junior, stated to the officer, I don't know nothing, I didn't see nothing, and I left at that.
So you left then?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did. I went home.
And did you have the girls?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Okay, so what happened when you got home?
I got home, and Alethea went to, we talked about what they was going to do about school and all that. We had a brief conversation about school, and then Alethea said she was going in our bedroom and get on her phone, and Elena said she wanted to watch YouTube, so she went in their bedroom, turned the TV on. That's where the girls was. I was watching a movie in the living room, and I was there approximately maybe 30, 35 minutes. I stepped outside to smoke a cigarette, and that's when the officer pulled up.
And then what happened when the officer got there?
The officer pulled up, and he stated that, Mr. Cooper, I got to detain you. I said, for what for? He said, for assault on Amy. I said, I did not assault my wife. I showed him my hands. He put the flashlight on my hands. I showed him both sides of my hands. He stated, well, I have a witness. I said, I have 2 witnesses say I didn't assault my wife. And he said, who? I said, my daughters, who was in the car with me. So we went in the house. I called the girls to the front. I asked them in front of the officer on body cam, did Daddy assault your mom? And both girls, first Alethea and then Elena, both stated no. I told them to go back in the room. They went back in the room. I told the officer, now you see, I did not assault my wife. I got 2 witnesses. He stated, well, you need to call someone to get the girls because I'm arresting you anyway. I called my Aunt Dorothy and told my Aunt Dorothy, hey, I need you to come up here and get the girls because the officer said I assaulted Amy, even though the girls said I did not. He didn't wait for me. He didn't wait for my aunt and uncle to get there. He immediately removed me out of the house. At that time, that's when the female officer stated that she smelled a strong odor of marijuana after they'd been in the house for 20, 30 minutes. Smelled a strong odor of marijuana. And after the girls had stated on their body cams that I did not assault their mother, strong odor of marijuana. And then she said, when she seen something in the ashtray, they took me out of the house, put me in the vehicle. And that's when the officer interrogated my kids while I was in the vehicle.
Okay. And do you understand why the officer would talk to your kids?
Well, He shouldn't have talked to my kids. He had no right to talk to my kids. I do believe that's the law.
Well, didn't you tell the officer your children were witnesses?
Well, in my presence, the kids told the officer that I did not assault them.
But you understand that the police's job is to talk to all the witnesses separately.
In my presence, Miss Ferguson, we questioned our daughters, and our daughters told the officer that there was no assault from their dad to their mother.
So do you think that that was fair to put on your children? They're how old?
11 and 6 years old.
So how many times have they had to talk to the police on your behalf?
They never have.
How many times have they seen you arrested?
This time and once before in a prior case.
And do you think that that hurts them?
Yes, ma'am, it does. It hurts me to have my kids with an officer arrest me for no reason. Yes, ma'am, it does.
If you knew you were going to be arrested, would you make a different choice regarding your children in the future?
Well, the officer shouldn't arrest me because I didn't do anything, Miss Ferguson.
So did your Aunt Dorothy get there for the girls?
When my Aunt Dorothy arrived there, the girls told her again that I did not. They saying my daddy hit mommy and daddy did not hit mommy. My Aunt Dorothy repeated that to the officers, and it was no avail. The officers had in their mind to arrest me no matter what.
Okay, and that would be between you and those officers. Is that correct?
Well, yes, that'd be correct. Yes, ma'am.
So when you were talking to Miss Nieto and you talked about the having marijuana in a Cool Whip container, do you remember that conversation?
Yes, ma'am, I sure do.
Did that happen during the same incident?
Yes, ma'am. After my girls told the officer that I did not assault their mom, as I stated, the female officer, I think her name is Hawthorne or something like that, she stated that she smelled a strong odor of marijuana, and that's when Officer Reyes pulled me up off the couch, put the handcuffs on me in the front, and removed me out of the house. The marijuana wasn't visible to anyone, and the only reason why she didn't see the marijuana. She seen an orange paper on top through the container lid, and that's when she said there's marijuana, strong odor of marijuana. The marijuana wasn't visible to no one.
But the paper, is that something that you used to roll your marijuana?
Yeah, yes, and it wasn't visible to no one either. It was inside the container.
So I assume that they got a search warrant?
No, ma'am, they did not.
Okay, but they did search your house, is that
No,
correct?
ma'am, they did not. They only took the marijuana and went out the house.
Okay. So what is your understanding of why you were arrested for that incident for the domestic violence, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And then later you were arrested on a blue warrant, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. After I bonded out that Wednesday, I talked to Miss Veronica. I talked to the supervisor. We was on the way to Plainview to address the family-based thing with the department, and I was pulled over, and that's when we realized we had the blue warrant.
Okay, and do you know why you have a blue warrant?
The blue warrant was issued because of just the assault, because parole, anytime there's a sexual assault, or anything like that, the parole board will err on the side of caution, issue a blue warrant, and let everything work itself out.
Okay. And so you have been arrested on assault on a blue warrant before, is that correct?
No, ma'am. I've been arrested on a blue warrant for alleged assault that was never filed, and I was reinstated because the officer, one, couldn't prove I assaulted my wife again, and the parole board was upset at the Florida Police Department for calling the parole officer saying that, well, we arrested him on assault when there was been no assault.
And part of the reason you said there's been no assault is because both you and Miss Hernandez Cooper have denied all of them. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. I've never assaulted my wife, Miss Ferguson.
But every time you've been arrested for it, you've denied it. Is that correct?
Yes, because it never happened. You want me to say it did happen when it didn't happen?
Okay, Mr. Cooper, just answer the question.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Judge. That's correct, Miss Ferguson.
So right now, are you okay with where the children are currently placed?
Yes, ma'am. I asked for the kids to be placed with my aunt and uncle while we work this matter out.
Okay. And when you get out of jail, are you open to working services with Miss Hernandez Cooper?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And do you believe that that could benefit your family and your children?
Yeah, it could, and maybe getting out of Florida could help us also as well, because this whole matter, as I stated, Ms. Ferguson, you look at the report, it's been behind Florida Police Department.
And do you understand why the department has concerns?
Yes, ma'am, I do, but like I told Ms. Veronica that day she interviewed me, don't believe everything Florida Police Department tell them, because they're lying.
But do you understand why your children being present when you get arrested is not good for your children?
That is, but I can't do anything about that. If a police comes up and say he's gonna arrest me for whatever, ma'am, there's nothing I can do about that, ma'am. Whether I'm with my kids or whether I'm out my kids or I'm at my home or anywhere else, ma'am, there's nothing I can do.
So at this time, would you agree with me that the children can't be placed with you?
No, I don't agree with that. I believe the kids are well off with me. They should have stayed with me.
But where can they, like tonight, where would you be able to take care of them if they're placed with you?
If I was released at my home, 505 South 3rd Street, ma'am.
But you're not released, is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Farley?
Mr. Cooper, there's been no domestic violence case actually filed against you at this point in time, right?
No, ma'am. As of Monday, when I had a parole hearing, there's no charges. They just statements from the police department to my parole.
Right. So there's been no complaint filed, no indictment, nothing.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And you indicated earlier that you actually reached out to CPS because you had concerns about Ms. Hernandez Cooper and her sobriety, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And one of those concerns was you felt like the place that she was getting help really wasn't giving her the right kind of help.
No, ma'am. I've said that before in a previous CPS case, that Central Plains is not doing anything for my wife at all whatsoever.
Right. And so you wanted to try to get her help to avoid the situation that we're in right now, right?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
And do you believe that Ms. Hernandez Cooper is willing to go to rehab and willing to stop using drugs?
Yes, we discussed that before. After I talked to Wendy Cates and did the intake, my wife was willing to go get the help. Yes, she was.
Right. In fact, you told Ms. Hernandez Cooper that you called CPS, right?
That I did. Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Wasn't a big secret. You guys talked about it and talked about this being a way to get help.
Yes, ma'am.
And you, other than when you got arrested, well, let me ask you, did you let Ms. Hernandez Cooper come to the house once you had that plan?
No, ma'am, because the safety plan was she could not come to the house.
Okay, and you kept that part of the plan? Yes. All right. And then you had one time where you actually went over to see Ms. Hernandez Cooper and you thought that the monitor was going to be there, right?
Yes.
And so that wasn't willfully trying to avoid the rules. You just didn't know that the approved person wasn't there.
Yes.
Okay. And just to talk a little, and I don't want to ask any facts about it, but when you left that location and you went back to your house with your children, did you have any idea that cops would be showing up at your house
no, ma'am, I did not.
later?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Had you known, would you have already gotten somebody there to take care of the kids?
No, I wouldn't even open the door for them. I'd come get a arrest warrant.
Right. But if you had known that it was going to be a big deal around your kids, would you have made a plan to get your kids somewhere else so they didn't have to see you getting arrested?
Of course. My Aunt Dorothy she's my outlet, or even
Your Honor, I'm going to object to speculation.
Sustained.
Okay. And so you indicated that you'll work services, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you know, as you sit here today, when you have do you have a parole hearing scheduled?
Well, they dropped one of the charges already. They dropped the resisting arrest charge, and no one has the paperwork to that, not parole, not CPS. But my attorney told me after the last hearing we had that I only had two charges, the assault and the possession of marijuana. The assault will be all the cases are going to be dropped. I'm pretty certain of that.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I don't want you to get into the details, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but just, do you know when you have a parole hearing scheduled, what date it is, so that they can decide if they're going to revoke you or let you go back out?
Parole can't do anything until Florida County decide what they're going to do.
Okay, so you don't have a hearing date as we sit here today?
No, they can make me sit and wait 91 days and then lift the blue warrant, or they
Alright.
lift the blue warrant immediately.
Okay, pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Barfield?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Cooper, I think most of the testimony has already been elicited. But you're fine with placement while you're incarcerated with Dorothy and at the time, at right now, is that correct?
No, it's my Uncle Tim and I know her.
Okay. And do you believe once you're released that you are perfectly capable of taking care of these kids?
Yes, sir, I am.
And is that what you're asking that happens? Is now for a while, are you asking that this case be dismissed, or what are you asking the court today?
Well, I'm asking the court to, I'm asking the court to look at the allegation first and foremost from the police officer itself. Second of all, I'm asking the court, you understand, to see that the police officer interrogated the girls outside my presence, which we know no officer can do that. That's a violation of the law right there. And you will see that Florida County has never been honest with the department or parole or anywhere else. So yes.
And is that primarily what you wanted the court to know today?
That's what I asked Ms. Veronica to do the very first time when she interviewed me, ma'am, sir.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
All right, Ms. Kincaid?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, back to you. Anything further?
No, Your Honor, at this time, the department rests.
All right. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna give Ms. Wyatt a short break. So, let's just let everybody let's try to start back maybe right around, 11:30, 11:35. Ms. Riley or Ms. Kincaid, are you all by your computers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I turned on my camera, but I guess I did not. I apologize.
No problem. All right, and Ms. Cooper, are you there? Okay. Now, make sure she's there. All right, Ms. Cooper, can you unmute? There we go.
Okay.
Okay, just want to make sure you're there. Okay, Ms. Riley, any witnesses to call?
No, Your Honor, we don't have any witnesses.
Okay, do you rest?
Yes, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, Mr. Barfield.
Arrest.
Okay, Ms. Kincaid, any witnesses to call today?
I rest, Your Honor.
Okay, then Ms. Kincaid, do you have a recommendation to make today?
Just continue. The department is temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement. The girls are doing well there. So I think that's going to be the best course of action for now.
Okay. Thank you. All right, then at this time, I am going to find that the evidence is sufficient to name the Department of Family and Protective Services as the temporary managing conservator. I would find that there would be a continuing and ongoing danger to return the children home today. First of all, mom's admitted drug use and she's getting ready to hopefully go to rehab. Also, Mr. Cooper is obviously incarcerated and is not capable of taking the children at this time. And so I will leave the children in the current placement. Everybody seems to feel like that's a good place and a good spot for the kids. And it seems to me that it is. They're essentially, at home as they can be right now. The department, of course, I would expect to use reasonable efforts to reunify the family. And I will expect parents to work some services as they are able to do so. Obviously, we need to get some service plans developed. They'll talk with you all about that. I mean, you've been down this road, you know what to expect. Ms. Cooper, single biggest thing for you is getting sober and developing a relapse prevention plan that works. And so, Mr. Cooper, obviously, you don't have a lot of options other than try to get these charges and things taken care of first. But there may be a few things you can do while you're sitting there in jail, and I would ask the department to look at everything that's possible for him to participate in while he's incarcerated. Okay, we will have our status hearing on September 11th of 2024. That'll be on a 1 o'clock docket. Ms. Ferguson, I would like to have, unless the department's already done it and I don't know about it or didn't hear about it, I would like to have drug screens done on Ms. Cooper,
Okay.
hair and UA, so that we've got levels. Something to
When would
compare.
when would you like that completed by?
She's gonna have to. Is she gonna have to go to Lubbock or Amarillo?
I would ask St. Francis to answer.
She can go to either one, whichever one she prefers. We have places in both towns.
Okay.
I think both of them require people to be there by what, 4?
I think 3:30 or 4.
3:30.
I believe Lubbock is a little bit closer to Floydada than Amarillo is. That's what I've been told.
I think it is. So
And Lubbock might be 3:30 for the cutoff.
Yeah, I think it is.
All right, let's just say by noon tomorrow. Ms. Cooper, can you do that by noon tomorrow?
I don't have a vehicle right now, but if the department is willing to take me there, I'm be happy to do that for you.
Can we arrange transportation to get her there?
I can request transportation. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Ms. Cooper, the St. Francis folks will be in touch with you about that, but plan on that and we'll try to make that happen. Okay. Hope that you'll get into rehab as soon as possible. Placement of the children, of course, is always an ongoing thing. We can look at that as things develop. And I'm certainly not opposed to looking at that as things develop, but we don't have a lot of choices sitting here right now. Yes, Mr. Cooper.
Your Honor, I haven't seen or talked to the kids since my arrest on the blue warrant. Can we make arrangements where I'm able to see the kids?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Cooper, I really am not a fan of taking kids to the jail. And your kids are still really young. If they were 16 or 17-year-olds, I might have a different feeling about it. I don't know if there can be some arrangement made where you could have a phone call or something with them. I would be okay with that, but I don't like kids going to the jail.
And I agree with that. I don't want them to see me in jail either, but I would like to, have some contact with my kids, you know what I'm saying, while we're sitting this matter out.
If the jail will permit you to have a supervised phone call with the children, I mean, it's really kind of up to them, quite frankly, and I can't tell them what to do. So if they will allow it, then I'm okay with that.
And Your Honor, if he wants to write letters and provide those to the permanency specialist, she can share those with the children. Or if the children write letters, we can share that with Mr. Cooper. So that's an option as well. As long as the letters are appropriate and not mentioning the case at all, then there's no issues with that.
Sure. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Since Alvin is incarcerated and I am able to see our daughters, I wanted to ask the department, or you, Your Honor, if I could get Alvin's hour for now.
Well, your access to the children is going to depend greatly on the outcome of those drug tests.
Okay.
Because if you're positive for methamphetamine,
yes, ma'am,
at any kind of, elevated level, I'm not going to allow you to have in-person visits with the children until we've got a clean UA on you. And that is for no other reason than the health and safety of the children. Meth is transmitted skin to skin, and I'm not going to put the kids in the position where they would be in contact with that.
Okay.
So, if your UA is clean, and it should be based on what you've testified to today, then you can have face-to-face visits.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Sorry, Your Honor. I have
Yes.
2 questions. The department, I just wanted to make it clear at this time, due to Ms. Hernandez Cooper going into rehab and the incarceration of Mr. Cooper for the time being, the department is not asking for any child support or medical support at this time. We would ask that any money that they would put towards support, that they put towards the services to help them work the services that this court will eventually order in order for them to reunify quicker with the children.
Right. So no child support or medical support will be ordered so that they can use those resources to work services.
And then secondly, I just have a housekeeping matter. I would ask the court to make a finding that the department did make reasonable efforts in by working with the family and FBSS and offering safety plans and other things to try to avoid the removal.
Yeah, I find that the department's made all reasonable efforts to avoid the removal. And we just, we're just at the place where we're at and we just don't really have any options. So I'm glad that we've got good placement with family for the children. That makes it easier on them. So,
Judge, I'm going to need an address for Amy if I'm going to request transportation. I don't have access to her case file yet in our system.
hang on just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream if that's okay.
Your Honor, I think we're all here except for Mr. Cooper. If he's going to appear from the jail, we're not sure.
Okay. Well, he has counsel, correct?
Yes.
I think we can go ahead and proceed then.
I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor. In his absence, I don't see any reason to hold up these proceedings because the jail, who knows what's going on at the jail.
This is true. All right, let's go on the record. And if I could have announcements, please.
Pamela Ferguson, Regional Attorney representing the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. I'm present and ready with Permanency Specialist Lisa Hooper and Supervisor Jasmine DeVroe, both from St. Francis Ministries.
Yeah.
Brooks Barfield, attorney for Alvin Cooper, present and ready. As has already been discussed off the record, he is currently incarcerated, and I am now ready to proceed.
Thank you.
Tracy Riley, I am here and ready to proceed, and I'm representing Amy Hernandez, the mother in this case, and she appears to be on the Zoom as well, although her camera is not on.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent the children and I'm ready.
Thank you. Ms. Cooper, if you have the capacity, there you are, you turned it on. Appreciate it. All right, Ms. Ferguson.
Your Honor, on this one, I would just ask to call Lisa Hooper as a witness.
As a statement, or you want to call her?
Just to call her to do a more formal hearing on this one. Just I think it goes easier that way.
Okay, Ms. Hooper.
Ms. Hooper, please state your name for the record.
Lisa Hooper.
And how are you employed?
I'm a permanency specialist with St. Francis Ministries.
And you've recently been assigned to this case, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you develop a family plan of service for, let's go by each parent. So did you develop one for Amy Hernandez?
I did.
And did you meet with Ms. Hernandez regarding that plan of service?
Yes, I did.
And has she signed it?
Yes.
And can you briefly tell the court what is on that plan of service?
We are going to ask her to maintain a source of legal income, maintain an appropriate residence for a minimum of 6 consecutive months, schedule and maintain regular supervised family visits, excuse me, to participate in parenting classes for a minimum of 12 hours. If Amy tests positive on a random drug test, she'll be referred to the drug and alcohol screening and assessment. Amy will maintain a drug-free lifestyle and will submit to random drug testing. And she will actively participate in and complete individual counseling and family therapy if recommended. She'll participate in a psychological evaluation. And she will have face-to-face contact with her permanency specialist on a minimum of 1 time each month.
And has she agreed to all these services?
Yes.
And what type of visitation is she having with the children?
She's having weekly visits, supervised. They are 1 hour each week in Florida.
And are they in person?
Yes.
And what services is the department asking her to focus on to start off with?
To maintain sobriety, attend AA/NA classes, and start counseling that can focus on the drug use that she's had.
Okay. And is it fair to say that that's one of the main reasons that the department is currently involved with this family?
Yes.
Okay. Have you developed a plan of service for Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
And have you met with him regarding his plan of service?
Yes.
Did he sign it?
No, he did not.
And would you briefly tell the court all the services the department is requesting the court to order Mr. Cooper to participate in?
Absolutely. He will maintain a source of legal income. He will maintain appropriate residence for a minimum of 6 consecutive months. He will refrain from any and all criminal activity. He will participate in services available to him while incarcerated. Will schedule and maintain regular supervised visits after he is out of incarceration. He will maintain a drug-free lifestyle. He will submit to random drug testing on a monthly basis requested by the department. He will provide the department with requested information pertaining to the case. If Mr. Cooper tests positive, he will be referred for a drug and alcohol screening and assessment. He will participate and complete an individual counseling and family therapy if recommended, and have face-to-face contact with his permanency specialist on a minimum of 1 time each month.
Okay. And when we were here last at the temporary orders hearing, a visitation was addressed for him. What is your understanding of what the court ordered for his visitation?
That he would write letters to each of the girls and give them to me, and I would provide them to the girls.
Okay. And did the question of the girls going in person to visit him at the jail come up at that hearing?
I believe so, yes.
And what is the department's position on that?
We do not take children to the jails for visitation.
Has anything about anything in this case changed the department's mind or their position on that?
No, ma'am.
So at this time, would the department be asking the court to continue his visitation as it was previously ordered?
Yes.
How are the girls doing?
The girls are doing wonderful. They are doing great.
And was a home study completed on their placement?
Yes.
And what was the result of that?
It was passed. It was approved.
Are they able to stay in the same schools?
Yes, ma'am.
And everything with their placement is going well. Is that correct?
It's going very well. It's a kinship placement. They are doing very well. They're going to school every day. They're enjoying school. Well, Elena is going to do cheerleading for the flag football team here in Florida. So they are both doing very, very well in school and in placement.
Are there any needs regarding the children that the department would ask the court to address today?
No.
At this time, is the department asking the court to make both family plans of service an order of the court?
Yes.
And is the department asking the court to order that there is a continued need for temporary managing conservatorship in this case?
Yes.
And what is that continued need?
The continued need is to provide the children with a safe home and environment, and that the mother continue to work her services as she's doing and continue to drug test on a monthly basis and continue her services.
Okay. And it has been recent as the temporary order hearing that Ms. Cooper did admit to drug use. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is she working any services at this time to address that?
She is. She has she's about to start counseling with a counselor in Amarillo that's going to do counseling and also focus on the drug use that she had. She has started going to virtual AANA classes. She is scheduled to take her psychological evaluation. And so she's also started on her parenting. So she's doing well with her services.
Okay. And as far as Mr. Cooper, when you recently visited with him, did he give you any indication of when he believes he might get out of jail?
He really doesn't know. He thought maybe at the end of 90 days, but it was unclear. He stated it was unclear to him at that point exactly how much longer it would be.
Okay. Your Honor, I pass the witness.
I believe there's a note about the dad appearing from jail. Did you see that, Rachel?
I'm pulling it up right now, Judge.
Okay.
Okay. I guess he's going to appear, I guess.
Okay. So see if Rachel has him out in her waiting room.
No, I don't have anyone in the waiting room. I'll
Okay.
watch for him though.
Okay, you watch for him. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, Miss Riley, any questions?
Yes, just briefly. In addition to Ms. Hooper, in addition to the other things that you've talked about, my client also has been tested for drugs, correct?
Yes,
She tested in August
yes.
and she tested negative, correct? In the urine test.
On the UA, she tested negative. The hair
Right.
was positive.
Right. Okay. In addition to that, she has set up a home, right? Have you had an opportunity to view where she's living?
Yes, she's living in the home that her and Alvin share.
Okay. And it's a suitable home and placement for the children?
Yes,
Okay. There haven't been any problems at her visits with the children, right?
correct.
The children want to see their mother?
Yes.
Now, in terms of who set up the individual counseling in Amarillo?
Her and I got on the phone together with Melissa Lawson, which is, I think, part of the counseling group there. I think she either knew Miss Pace Lawson or she had gone to him before. So she wanted to go to him. So we got her on the phone, or the Lawson counseling group, we got them on the phone, talked to them about their drug counseling and what all they do. So it was kind of a joint effort between me and her.
Okay, but Ms. Hernandez Cooper actually came up with somebody that she thought would be helpful to her for this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know you testified that she admitted to drug usage though, but isn't it true that she admitted to only having a small relapse that was almost 4 months ago?
No, she admitted to using drugs. Yes.
Right, but she admitted to just one relapse over 4 months ago.
I do not remember the one relapse part. I do not remember that.
Okay, well, she didn't admit that she was consistently using drugs again, right?
All I remember is that she admitted to using drugs. She didn't say how many times. She didn't say one time. So I don't know how many times she was using the drugs.
Okay, well, would you agree that there's a difference between whether or not she was using drugs habitually or just had one relapse?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And so, but as you sit here today, the department doesn't know which it was.
Yeah, she has not given us an exact number of how many times she used drugs.
And you didn't ask to clarify so that you could determine whether or not the children, what sort of level of risk the children were at?
No.
Pass the witness.
Let's see, Mr. Barfield.
Thank you, Judge. Ma'am, so right now, Mr. Cooper is incarcerated. Are there any services that he is going to be able to complete while his case is pending that you're aware of?
Last week when I went to visit him, I took him a parenting packet for him to work on, and he did take that with him.
Oh, good. Okay, good. And did he indicate to you that he would work on that?
He did.
Great. Okay. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Are the children up to date on their medical and dental?
Yes.
And school's just started, but it sounds like they're excited to be in school.
They are. And they also both of them got new glasses in August.
Okay. And are any of the children on psychotropic medications?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anything since the filing of the court report that the judge would need to be aware of regarding the children?
Oh, I'm sorry. There have not been any changes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass witness.
Ms. Ferguson, any other questions of this witness?
No, Your Honor. And at this time, the department, well, let me ask.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, Your Honor. Let me just, Ms. Hooper, is the department asking this court to find that there is a continuing danger that necessitates these children to stay in the temporary managing conservatorship of the department?
Yes.
And what is that continuing danger as presented by Ms. Cooper?
Drug use from her.
And when was the last time that she had a positive drug test?
In August, she tested negative on a UA, but positive on a hair strand. Okay. And that's the only time she has tested for so far.
And those are the services that the department is asking her to continue to address. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. As far as Mr. Cooper, what is the continuing danger?
He has not, except for the parenting packet that I was able to give him, he has not been able to start any of the other services that we have asked him to do. And he's incarcerated.
Okay. And so is the plan, if he gets out of incarceration, for him to work some services?
Yes.
And those are the services the department has asked this court to order today. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at this time, would he be able to provide any type of safe environment for the children to live?
No.
Your Honor, I pass the witness again.
Ms. Riley, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Barfield
No, Judge.
and Ms. Kincaid.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ferguson, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor. And at this time, the department rests and asks for all the requisite findings on the permanency order.
Thank you. Ms. Riley, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Barfield?
No, Your Honor. No witnesses.
Okay, and Ms. Kincaid, you are the attorney ad litem and the guardian ad litem. Do you have any witnesses or a recommendation?
No witnesses today, Your Honor. Recommendation is the department maintain temporary managing conservatorship and the placement be approved. The girls really enjoy their placement, and it seems like placement is adequately protective and very communicative with me. So I think that's a good spot for the girls to be.
Okay. I did forget to ask if somebody has gone out to talk to the placement about kinship services. Can somebody respond to that, please?
Yes, we have had a kinship worker visit with them. So they are in the process of getting out the kinship services set up.
Okay, while I have your mic on, what is the plan at this time?
Family reunification concurrent with relative adoption.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else from anybody? If you do, wave your hand and I'll call on you. Okay, thank you. Then I will order that the two plans be made in order of this court. Also, I do find that all reasonable efforts have been made at this time to reconcile this case and that there is a continuing danger. I find also, just as an aside, and as somebody who was a judge forever, that this case shouldn't last very long. It looks like the mother's on her way to doing the right thing, and hopefully this will be resolved soon. Let me remind you, Ms. Cooper, that since now you've accepted this plan, you now have to work it. It sounds like you're already doing that, but you have to continue. If you don't, your rights could be restricted or terminated. So please just stay on the path you're on, keep in touch with your worker and your attorney, and sounds like things are going your way. Anything else from anybody today? Nope.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. It's been fun. Y'all have a good one. We'll go off the record.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.